Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Tourney Talk here at sunjournal.com. We're breaking down the Eastern Class A boys bracket here of the 2010 basketball tournament. It's going to be coming to you from the Augusta Civic Center, and the collective uh-oh you heard, as we saw in the article the other day, coming from the rest of Eastern A, was Edward Little's absolute domination of Brewer in that KVAC championship game. And Brewer's going in as the number one seed, but nobody's fooled by that. Edward Little is the favorite coming into this tournament.
Edward Little has swept Brewer, has beaten them 3 times, including, as you said, convincingly in a KVAC game that both teams seem to play straight up. You never know how coaches are going to approach those exhibition conference championship games. A little different look for Edward Little. They've had a run of being the number 1 seed here for about 3 years running, now the number 2 seed. And I think they're playing as well relative to the field as they were any of those years, if not better. They caught a break, unlike the girls team from Edward Little, got their key injury early in the year with James Philbrook getting hurt with the toe injury. And the other guys stepped up their game. Brandon Jaguar and Cody Nicholas and Yusuf Ahmad has played just incredible basketball this year. And as a collective group, they've just stepped it up over the last month and a half.
The one thing maybe that might trip them up here is that they face arguably the hottest team other than themselves in the tournament. They'd have to play in the Eastern semifinal in Bangor. Bangor finished the season on a tremendous run. The number 3 seed, should EL advance to that second round game, it could be against Bangor, which is giving a lot of team fits.
It could, but let's not look past the quarterfinals because Edward Little draws Mount Blue, another local team.
And they haven't played.
Seed. They haven't played. Mike Adams, graduated from Mount Blue.
Sure.
Is a protege of Coach Jim Bessie, who has 450 career wins now or something like that. Has a team dominated by sophomores and juniors, very talented. Just have had trouble closing the deal, a couple of overtime losses, some missed free throws, and some other close games have haunted them, or they could be seated much higher. So you never know how a team like that's going to respond to the open air of the Augusta Civic Center Auditorium.
And I'll tell you what, I actually saw Mount Blue play a game this year against Brewer, and that went to overtime in a game which I felt Mount Blue didn't even deserve to be in for a little while, but they hung tough, and they played a game very similar. I think Brewer, at least makeup-wise on the surface of it, is very similar to Edward Little, and they played them tough. So matching up against Edward Little is not going to be as hard for Mount Blue as some people might think.
Next to the last week of the regular season, Mount Blue lost back-to-back to Hamden and Brewer in overtime at home. Showed they can compete with the better teams in Eastern A. So some people might have looked at this as a step back, rebuilding year, whatever you want to call it. Not the case for the Cougars.
Fantastic. The rest of the bracket breaks down pretty simple. Brewer and Skowhegan, Hampton and Brunswick ought to be an interesting 4-5, and then Bangor and Coney. So it's going to be an interesting bracket, but Edward Little right now, early favorite.
Yeah, I've been known for not picking the Eddies in the past and drawing the ire of the Auburn Knights, but I'm going to have to go with EL as my prohibitive favorite to win this tournament. I think they get by Bangor in the semifinal and roll through the championship.
Thank you, Cal, for sunjournal.com/tourney10 and our previews. I'm Justin Pelletier, again, Cal Oakes. For all of your tournament needs, follow us at sunjournal.com/tourney10 this entire week and enjoy the tournament.